I just have a question. It's kind of personal and a bit private, but can I talk to just one of the
Sure,
sisters?
absolutely.
I was studying for a bit with, I have witnesses in my family.
Okay.
And I was studying for a bit with some of the sisters in New West, where I'm from. And my grandma really instilled in me the bit that she could, that this was the truth, and I don't know how to believe at this point. But the sisters in New West kind of stopped calling on me, and I was wondering, it's kind of upsetting, I mean, I'm trying to learn, and I don't know. I started asking questions, and I'm just curious why they don't call me back, they don't come around anymore, and I'm wondering, why would they stop seeing me?
Honestly, I'm not sure. The only thing I can think of is maybe they might moved or something like that, and maybe they're not around in the area anymore.
Maybe.
I can't understand why they, if you had questions.
And I had I'm not, my knowledge of the Bible is zilch, a heartbeat. I have got maybe 6 Bibles at home because I'm trying to compare and learn and stuff.
Okay.
But at this point, I could probably not have a legitimate conversation about the Bible, but just questions about the literature and questions about some things that I've heard. I raised these questions, and they treated me like they're not supposed to talk about these things, and I'm just how I don't things that I've been reading in the news and stuff, and it's how can I, if I'm having a study with someone and they ask, someone asks a question, how am I, where do I go with that if they won't answer me, now they don't talk to me anymore?
Honestly, I don't understand why. I don't know the whole story, but so you weren't raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses?
I was not. My grandma was, but my grandma was a witness, but she wasn't allowed, I guess, to teach us because my parents were not into it or whatever. And now that I'm an old adult, I can make my decisions.
Absolutely.
She's kind of still uncomfortable about because family things. But at the same time, it's if I have questions, I can have them answered, And
honestly, I'm not sure why. The only thing I can think of is maybe they moved or something's happened, and that just sounds very odd to me.
Yeah, I felt so too. And I don't know. At home, I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm not religious, but I'm into meditation and things like this. And things like they saw a meditation corner that I have, and then they started showing me scriptures and stuff about how idols and stuff like this, that they're wrong, and it's I'm not, just because I'm
we're
into
not there
myself doesn't mean, it's just you're coming into my home. And then this happens, and I also had questions about things that are uncomfortable to talk about, I've heard about child abuse and stuff like this and if I'm going to come into an organization like that, I want to know. Is it disclosed in the congregation, because these things are on the news, CBC. They wouldn't explain it, and I want to know.
I understand that. The only thing is that when it comes to the news, you have to realize. Should I ask an elder about these things? Yeah, the only thing about the news is because I've been in situations like in court cases and things like that where I've been sitting in the courtroom and listening to everything and seeing it firsthand, and then I read about it or I hear about it on the news, and it's totally different. So it's a lot of times it can be a biased opinion. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that something didn't happen, but all I'm saying is that sometimes we have to just take the news for what it is. But there's always an opinion, right? There's always a bias to something like that. Yeah.
So it's just I've seen cases all over the world, a global problem. They said something about $4,000 a day they're being charged in the States for not handing over these documents. And again, to me, if I somewhere in here, I feel like it's the truth. But at the same time, how can I can't, something must be wrong with me if I can't look past. I don't know. How do you guys look past that? Do you not? Right. Like I said, should I ask an elder?
Yeah, but the thing is that we don't. we don't always know what's going on in the States or what. But it's very, like, I have heard a lot of these things myself. I've heard them on the news and I've heard, but there's never been anything to substantiate it. And let me say, things are not swept under the carpet in the organization. Because my husband has been an elder the whole time we've been married. My father was an elder as I grew up. And when things happen, things are dealt with. And if they need to come to the attention of the authorities, it's done. Because I've seen it myself, where things have happened, and it's like, no, you have to deal with this, and this has to, the police or something, they have to know about it, because it can't get cleared up properly unless that's happened.
Yeah.
So,
like, I would agree with that from a principle standpoint, but at the same time, I mean, even here in Canada, there's lawsuits in Canada right now. Australia, they have all of the court documents, including publications from Watchtower, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Can I ask you where you get this information from?
This is from the Australian government. It's made public, secret handbooks regarding child abuse. And that's why I'm asking, like, maybe that's why sisters can't answer this question for me, is if you have a secret book for the elders.
There's no secret. Yeah, see, I don't know where this information comes from. So maybe...
What's his name? Jeffrey... There was someone from the body, the...
governing body?
Yes. Jeffrey something.
Jeffrey Jackson?
Is it Jeffrey Jackson? He was at the Australian Royal Commission, and he said that this is a problem, and that it is in the book that they presented them with, and that they're not going to change the rule. So, again, it's like, how can I
have to, honestly, I would have to find out exactly. I have to research that myself before I can give you an answer, because to me that sounds very odd, and I have to question where that information is coming from.
Like the government, though, right? Like the government.
Government, again, too, you have to
I would
think
assume
about
that
where is
that's
that
legitimate, you know. I mean, it was they investigated multiple different agencies, corporations, and so forth, and one of them was, I think it was case 29 or something like this in Australia. And I mean, it's the government. Like, how can they be so wrong about something? You know.
Again, honestly, I can't give you a direct answer. I would have to research that myself, or we'd have to research.
Is he an elder? Can I talk? Can I ask him? Like.
Yes, you can. Yes.
Sorry, are you an elder?
Yes.
Hi. I kind of have a personal question.
Sure.
I was studying with some of the sisters in New Westminster.
I'm going to come back in 5 minutes.
And she.
He's a challenge.
Okay.
We've known him.
It's kind of embarrassing question. The sisters in New Westminster stopped coming around because they started asking questions about things that I was reading on the news, and I'm concerned because my family's in Jehovah's Witnesses, like half in, half out, and I was never really allowed to learn much, and now that I'm an adult and I can study, they want to answer these questions for me. So
what is your question?
I'm coming across things on the news about child molestation being covered up from the Watchtower, the Jehovah's Witnesses organization.
Well, I can tell you right now that we take that very, very seriously, and I'm unaware of any cover. And if we are find ourselves in that situation where it does come to our attention, there's a protocol in place for the authorities to immediately get involved. So.
Okay. Because I told her. There was, I don't know if you've heard the Australian Royal Commission, case 29, I believe it was, and one of the governing bodies, Jeffrey Jackson from the governing body, said that it was a problem worldwide, and that they have a secret manual for the elders, the shepherds of flock of God book, and that on page 72, it says that in the case of child abuse, if you don't have a second witness to the abuse, then you don't call.
Well, no, there's two issues.
And he said that that's correct.
There's two issues.
Okay.
One is the Bible standard is when someone comes up and makes an accusation, if there's not two witnesses to that from a biblical perspective, we may not be able to proceed. That's one issue. Then there is the secular side.
What do you mean by that?
That's the police, the judicial system.
Okay.
We will, we're obligated by law to let the police authorities down.
Right. like obligated, yeah, but I mean,
no.
I'm just.
So there's two things. One is a legal thing. So that's where the police get engaged, and there's the judiciary involved, and they get engaged for that. And then there's another side of it from a biblical perspective where it does talk about two witnesses. That doesn't mean we doubt the person in their claim at all. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that from a biblical perspective, if there wasn't two witnesses, having said that, the secular authorities get engaged.
But wait, sorry. So if there's not a second witness, then they don't get engaged?
No, the police get engaged automatically.
But if there's not a second witness, you guys don't engage.
Well, we can't go too much further on information. Every case is quite different, right? So you can't. It's not a rule. You can. It depends on the age of the individual. It depends on a whole bunch of things. So you look at it and you say, okay, from a scriptural perspective, what can we do? Obviously, we're concerned for the person that's been abused,
yeah.
Whether it be physical, mental, or whatever, right? So all those things are something you can do. So you can't just jump into something and say, this is the situation from a scriptural perspective. Having said that, we're very concerned for the individual, and we'll do everything in our power to help them. The person who's in that situation. The other individual, obviously, we take note of that, right? And we are aware of it.
So you are okay. So when you say you're aware of it, is the congregation? Because I'm like I want to join because I have it instilled in me.
Is the congregation aware?
But
well, if it was,
is it laid aware? This person has been accused, or this person has done this, and
Well, it again depends on the circumstance. There could be a marking talk given on an individual about the circumstance. Okay, that's one way of doing it in the congregation. There could be individuals, depending on what the issue is, could be made aware of it on a personal level to individuals who may be susceptible to that type of issue, whatever it may be.
It does bother me a little bit. Like it seems to me like if I want to join like my grandma's a witness. I told her most of my story, but and like I want to be there. There's so many hopes that you guys have. I want to be there, but at the same time, it really freaks me out.
But there's two things going on, right? So the police have been engaged.
Okay, but in this specific in Australia, there's a specific case, and they said that over 1,000 pedophiles were not reported to police at all. Watchtower knew about it, but they didn't report any of it.
I don't know about
it. So if you don't know about it, she doesn't know about it, you don't know about how are people supposed to keep their family safe?
Well, you got to remember too that when you maybe read on the news as well, right? You have to be susceptible because we know that.
I watched the whole thing. Yeah. You can sit down and watch the entire. I think it's like 10 hours.
Yeah, but you see, is it a court case that you're watching? Okay, good. That's good.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt that there has been within our organization. We don't say that we're perfect by any means, or there are not individuals that we don't make a statement. Those individuals, obviously, we're working with the police who have made those statements already.
Who? Which individuals? They haven't been reported at all.
Well, if they have, they know there's 1,000 cases. We're obligated. So I'd have to look at what the situation was. But I can tell you in Canada, we're obligated to do that.
So in Canada, there's a $66 million class action lawsuit going on right now. You guys know about that? It seems like, I mean, how do I know more about that? And I'm coming here, I want to.
I'm not looking for that per se, but
you don't want to know the truth about what
I'm not doubting that there have been individuals that have been in Jehovah's organization, okay, that have had problems. I don't doubt that.
Like appointed by Holy Spirit and the whole bit, and then they end up.
But that doesn't mean the individual may start off that way. It doesn't mean that
it's hard to swallow.
Here's the thing. In the Bible, it says very clearly that sin entered the world through one man, and we all sin. And even the Apostle Paul says in Romans 7. The things I wish to do, I do not do. And in the end, the miserable man that I am. So there's internal struggles with all imperfect individuals.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge that we face.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you really call them, or was that just a bluff, like you guys sometimes bluff about calling the police?
No, stick around if you want.
Did you really call them?
Yeah.
Because you guys have been known to lie to the police constantly.
I know.
Lie to people like me. Did you really call the police? Did you really call the police, sir, on me? Did you?
Excuse me.
Did you call the police?
I will right now. How's that?
Okay.
you. I'm asking you. Were you pretending to call the police?
I'm thanking for your time. I appreciate
You were
your time.
Give me
pretending
1
to call
second.
the
I just
police?
gotta go.
Ma'am, be careful about talking to them.
Thank you so much.
No, but I'd like, if I could finish it, he's a different gentleman where he doesn't like, he likes, I think he's mentally a little unbalanced.
Okay.
And I try to be very practical with him and let him have his viewpoint, but he,
was he, like, does he know about, is he, I mean,
he likes to confront across a show, and he likes to say things
How do I
like,
get back to my email? I can't see the number here. 181707.
so, anyhow, he's a different, and we have already worked with the police on that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, go to your question. We don't run from that. You have to go.
Okay.
You have to.
I have to go. But
I'll be here for a few hours if you're going to be back to this next. We can continue the discussion. I don't doubt for a section that some of those things are going on. We as an organization try not to deal with that. Also, the procedures over a period of time change, right? And we try to deal with the situation as best we can. Having said that, we work very closely to try to do things in a scriptural way and also do things in a legal way.
Like, I understand that everybody's individual. You guys have been perfectly kind to me. But what this guy said at that court case, it bothered me, you know. I mean, he said it was a problem and that the rule is not going to change. So if it's not going to change, it's a problem, then where does that leave someone?
So when you look at that 1,000 individuals, which I don't doubt you're accurate, it could very easily be over the course of a period of time. I think there's about 100,000 witnesses in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those individuals may or may not be witnesses today. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that piece of it. But the thing is, how we dealt with things from a scriptural point of view, we try to address that. It doesn't mean the individuals were ever left to their own devices. It doesn't mean that people were hurting. We left them hurting.
Well, like, do they get help? Do you guys send them for
absolutely.
help?
We were working with
Sorry,
them.
do you know what time it is?
I do, right here.
I can give you my number if you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's 11:45. Let me just write it on my little card.
Yeah.
Do you have a pen? Sorry.
I've got, my favorite color is blue, so if you blue
So what I'll do
pen.
is I will also do a little looking up myself.
Okay.
Get some detail on this. But generally speaking, I can tell from Canada, and I know the U.S. is the same as we are, and they're even more litigious than Canada is.
Say that again?
They're more litigious in the U.S.
Well, did you know that they're being charged $4,000 a day in the States for not handing over these documents, disclosing who and where and what? I mean, I'm scared.
Yeah.
and how, again, where does the money go then? Like my grandma donates all the time. Where does the money go if they're being charged millions upon millions of dollars on a regular basis? I mean, you can Google this. It's not like Google. I mean, you can come across some things that are not legitimate, but news articles. I mean, anyway,
well,
I do have to.
We don't profess to be perfect.
What's 403? Where is that?
It's a 403. It was an Alberta number.
Oh.
I'm
Hopefully you don't have you have an open plan, do you?
Sorry?
Do you have an open plan?
For today?
No, on your
Oh,
phone.
yes.
Text me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can give you my number. It's a 604, but
Let's
Here,
do
you
some
go.
research.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And,
I hope they know they're not here for me.
yeah, no.
Is there somebody
Hi.
named Michelle here?
That's my show right there.
Okay.
My name is Dean.
Dean?
Yeah.
Are you guys here? Are you guys husband and wife?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'd be happy to walk through that. It is a challenging thing. We're not at all saying that.
My main question is it disclosed to the congregation? If I become a witness and my kids are around, is it disclosed to the
Let's go this
congregation?
way. If we can't prove it, we
Okay,
can't.
but what about that kid that doesn't have anyone around
Oh,
while they're being abused?
So here's an example. If it becomes a
No, what about the kid? What if, like,
the child? What do we do?
Yeah.
We would recommend them going to get counseling, professional, psychological help. We recommend that as an organization.
To each and every one that might not have a second witness.
Well, absolutely.
Because this governing body guy, he was very specific about how the rule is not going to change, and that.
Yeah, but there's two things you're looking at. One is a scriptural requirement of what we can do from a biblical perspective, which is 2 witnesses, because there are cases and individuals. I'm not saying in our organization where some people have made false accusations, right, and they prosecute that. Even here on the news today with that.
You can ruin someone's life.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we try to do is follow the Bible standard. If there were 2 witnesses, for sure, that allows us to. That doesn't mean that we will not take action in the sense of protecting the individuals. For example, let's say an individual was a pedophile, which is the worst thing, right? I think any abuse is bad. And we could not, from a biblical perspective, prove that. Right? Now, we would be obligated to go to the police.
And you would? Because you said you wouldn't, so that's fine.
No. That's the rule for the biblical approach, right? The judicial approach is what we are also required to do. So we would inform our legal group, and in turn from them we would have to inform the local police to this. And at that point in time we hand it over to them to look at it from a secular, but from a judicial perspective, judiciary in the world, okay?
Sure.
And then from a biblical perspective, we will try to handle that. If we can't prove it from a biblical perspective and having more than 1 witness, and generally the police will come up with other stuff too that may very make that happen, right? We will still go to individuals, for example, if we have a bunch of young families, we will talk to each of the parents.
You will. So see, this is where what I'm looking for.
But that's different than us being able to act upon it from a scriptural perspective. We would say you have to be careful with this individual.
Right. Okay.
You see? Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get at. One is a theocratic God approach, and the Bible says 2 witnesses.
Specifically for that, though?
For anything.
For anything.
Right. So you could slander me, okay, and someone you come up and say, you slander me. Only 1 person. Well, I can't act upon that because that's that person's word against you.
Right.
Right? So, but if 2 people are just me, then I can sit down and talk to them. Now, that doesn't mean in the slandering case that that person would necessarily no longer be one of those witnesses, but we have judicial responsibility now to deal with that. Right? Now, it doesn't mean we wouldn't talk to the person, but we can't act on something if it's a he said, she said, or she said, she said, or he said, he said. We can't act upon that. That's the difference. So, in terms of what the commercial is saying, he's just saying that when it comes to spiritual things, we can do that. Now, these past results may have not been presented because at the time, even society wasn't doing it.
I don't know. I think it's a bit of I don't know.
But it's true.
Why are the police called?
That gentleman, he actually harasses us on a regular basis.
Follows you guys around?
Yeah, he'll stop at any one of our sites and he harasses us, and he has a police file.
Oh, okay.
So my job is, I'm not there to disparage him, but he wants me to confront. So don't hit me. You saw what I was doing.
Does he ever talk to you guys other than that? Like, do you know what his deal is? Or
I heard that he may have some mental issues.
Was he one of you guys in last?
He still is. We know, but he's kind of gone off on the deep end.
Oh.
So it happens. Even in our organization.
It's uncomfortable. Police, right? Like, I just...
Well, that's the situation. So we're not afraid of the police. We follow Bible standards on how to approach things. We have to advise them of issues. But in terms of how we address the individual congregation, obviously warnings maybe have to give them.
That's good. That's good to hear. Thanks for chatting with me.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for
And just look that stuff up.
I will take a peek.
Dean, right?
Yeah, Dean.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your name again?
Liz.
Liz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Okay.
I'll look at it.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Hi. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you guys to leave. Please leave right away. Please leave. Please pack up and leave. Yeah. Ma'am, please leave. What? Please leave.
Pack up your carts and go now.
Why?
I'm asking you on behalf of the public to please leave.
No, we've got permission to be here.
Well, unfortunately, you don't have permission to lie to people, to threaten people, and to physically assault people.
You got a number?
No, I don't.
Have you got the number? Who's got the number?
I'll just call the police.
You're going to call the police instead of wanting to know what I'm talking about and call yourself a true Christian? Have you lied on behalf of the truth yet today?
Who said we're not supposed to be here?
I say you're not supposed to be here.
Are you the...
Do I have to be... if I were Jesus, would that make it okay? Unfortunately, I'm not Jesus. I'm just some guy that doesn't like being lied to, doesn't like being physically assaulted by people who call themselves true Christians. 911, I think, is the number you're looking for. By this, all will know that you are my disciples.